Okay, hello and welcome, and thank you so much for joining us in this really powerful conversation and lesson today, which is covering a topic that so many of our house sitting groupers asked us about, which is, can you get paid to house sit? So we definitely had to get in contact with the mermaid house sitter, who has been paid as a house sitter for quite a while now through Hawaii. I'm assuming on different islands, but she'll let us know where mainly she has been. So a big welcome to the author of A Mermaid's Guide to House Sitting, Robin Lopez, and a fellow Academy member as well. So thank you
Welcome,
so
Robin.
much for being here.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm really happy to be here.
So we actually
Sharing information.
just asked Robin, is she house sitting at the moment? Please tell. Where are you at right now?
Well, at the moment, I'm at home where I go between house sits. And then I'm going to one of my favorite house sit and homeowners on the North Shore, Kauai.
Hawaii.
So, and it's one I've done before, and I just did it last month. Then they referred me to one, which I just finished, and then they called me again to do another one, and so that starts in about a week. So I'm excited because it's like a house that you don't want to leave.
I bet it is in Hawaii.
But at least you know you get to go back. And I think the most exciting part for everyone watching this particular lesson is that you're actually getting paid to do that one in a spectacular property.
Oh, and they're so happy to pay me. It's like I never really asked for money in the beginning, but people wanted to pay me. They wanted to pay me to be me, and I was just going, fabulous. But at first I was going, really? Okay.
That's awesome.
And then they paid whatever they wanted to, but still, just because they liked me and trusted me so much, and it was really cool.
Well, I think we need to go back to the start then.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did all that start?
When did it all start for you?
I started house sitting August, so it's been my anniversary month of 2012. So just 2 years solid house sitting. Mm-hmm. And at first I wanted to do the international thing, right? That's my whole idea of house sitting. But I didn't even think about house sitting until I did an actual house sit when I did my radical change. And a friend said, why don't you come to sit for a while for 3 weeks while I go to the Philippines? And I go, that's so sweet. Okay. So I did just move my couple of boxes over to her house. It was like right next door. And I learned, I just love this. She had no pets, but I wanted to do the best for her and just honor her. And so every little task I did, I made it all perfect. And then I found how much I loved it. So I started Googling while I was there. Because, when you're on house sits, your mind is clear.
Yes. We've been talking about that through the Academy, how much space you've got in creative space.
By today. Going, yeah, that's true. That's kind of how it started. So I started with her, and then I made this killer Craigslist ad. That's one way you can do it.
Okay.
Advertise yourself.
Yeah.
And the way I did the ad was I Googled how to write an effective Craigslist ad. Mm-hmm. And then I went to the websites, the matchmaking websites that were there then, 2 years ago.
Yep.
And studied how they did their profiles and which ones I might like to call. Mm-hmm. Who would I want to house sit for me?
Yes.
If I was to do that. So I copied that.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Copied it and put it on my killer Craigslist ad.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And so you're on Kauai, are you?
I'm on Kauai.
Okay. Have you been to any of the other islands as well?
House sitting, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing because Kauai is not that big.
You've gone
and
from
yet
house sit
you've
to
pretty
house
much
sit.
gone house sit to house sit on one island and getting paid. So where did that start for you?
That started after I did a few and I decided that's kind of what I wanted to do, and it just started flowing that way. I put it out there that I wanted to do some house sitting. So I house sat for another friend, and then my sister who had 2 little dogs. And then a friend, my landlord actually, who's got 3 acres of property and no pets, but that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I started just thinking, And then I got a call on a Craigslist ad. And the Craigslist ad is the one that really got me going because it was one of the most fabulous house sits ever.
Right.
And that she's the one who wanted to pay me. And I really, with all the perks of this house sit, and you're paying me too?
Well, that's pretty good.
I think what's surprising, though, is that you actually did a real work for rent just prior to that. So it was almost as if your vibration was changing because you were doing this extra work at this property, kind of starting to question, is, the free rent really worth the work I've got to do? But then you go and create a fabulous property and get paid. So tell us about how you feel about that element of actually being paid to be you, as you said before, which is just spectacular.
How I feel about that?
Yeah.
I feel like probably the same way you might feel if you're doing a house, that you just do your very, very best, but since you're getting paid, you want to even bring more of your A game to this whole deal.
Yes.
So again, you just really want to make this so excellent for the homeowner, and just do your very, very best at whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And because you want to be asked back also, right? And you want them to give you referrals. So it's like, there's nothing else going on. This is my work, and I'm going to just do my awesome best at it.
Yeah.
And
so by being paid,
so
by being paid,
Pardon?
you've actually really enhanced your desire to please, well, not please in a subservient way, but to really,
I think that's true.
Yeah.
Being of service.
Yeah, and because my whole goal when I was going through my radical change was I wanted to help people. So it's me helping them so much, then they want to return, what they have. Yeah. And it just kind of works that way.
Okay, so if there was actually a destination, even if it was another Hawaiian island or it was an international house sit, are you willing to go free house sitting as well?
Yes. Well, I told you that was my whole idea in my head, was to do the international because I want to start traveling. I'm not a savvy traveler. I have traveled to Ireland and Mexico and Mazatlan and where else? Not that Tahiti I went. And but then I was married for a long time and we didn't do any of that stuff. We had kids and that all stopped. We did do a couple things. And then what was the question again? Oh, where would I want to go?
Yeah.
I would want to go, I just have a hankering to go to Italy at some point. But right now I'm thinking I might want to do New Zealand. So I've been looking at New Zealand sites.
Oh, nice. Beautiful area.
Because it's kind of tropical, except it's opposite. And I just hear they have drop dead gorgeous nature there, and I'm really into nature.
They do. They definitely do that.
Like being surrounded and nurtured by that. So.
Yeah, look, New Zealand is definitely, it's a lot colder than Hawaii, but at different times of year. But the one thing that stands out for me with New Zealand is they're very, very natural therapeutic orientated, if that makes sense. It's like, in the US, you've got the whole FDA pretty much stopping anything to do with natural therapies. Whereas in New Zealand, they're kind of leading the way in approving certain things. So from that energy perspective and nature perspective, it's a really powerful place. So
yeah, it seems like it's kind of drawing me there before I do Italy. Yeah. So I'm just open to do everything.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put something.
You're asking me for a couple spots.
Exactly. I mean, the world is here, and you've got as long as you like to do it. But what I want to actually sort of point out is, let's say, from the perspective of house sitting, building up your references, building up even the experience to see if this is for you or not. You're pretty much doing it in your local area and getting paid for it and getting to sit at some really fantastic properties because it's such a beautiful area as well. But in being willing to go international, it's kind of like that fair exchange comes in to say, well, okay, if you're going to pay for your flight to get to a destination of where you'd like to be, you're not actually desiring to get paid. But I'm actually going to question, it's like if a vibrational level of you is that you are open to receiving, that should it come about, of course you'd accept it.
I know that when I start branching out, I don't want to be paid now unless you really want to.
Okay.
You know,
right?
It's got to come from them. But I want the trade. I like the accommodation, the trade for accommodation.
Yeah, it's the shared economy.
I think that's getting paid in a way, basically.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
I wouldn't be asking, or even in my head, about asking for money when I start going.
Yeah.
Because this has all been like practice for that, I think.
Yeah.
And
that's
beginning. It's basically the same. I think it's convenient for the homeowner here to know they can just dial a number and say, hey, we're going to go here. Can you come over on this so-and-so date? And I can check my calendar and I'll say, what time do you need me? And I'm there. I go, okay, you're penciled in. See you then. And that's easy for them.
Yes. Yeah.
That's how I like things. I like things so easy and uncomplicated. So I want to make it easy for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So you didn't put a rate down on your Craigslist that you put up. You didn't have a house sitting rate, like a payment rate?
I didn't. No, I don't believe in putting the rate on the ad. I believe in insinuating. There's a house sitting simple agreement form they're going to have to fill out, and I insinuate that there's going to be anything above and beyond the simple regime will be an extra charge.
Right.
So they know. Everyone that calls always asks me first question is, what do you charge?
Yeah.
And how do you answer that?
Do you have a set rate, or?
I do have a set rate.
Right.
The rate that I charge, I mean, because on this island, everyone thinks that everybody's got bunches of money, but that's not the case, you know, at all. Certain areas have a lot of money, and then some areas middle class, and then, you know, some people don't have any money.
Yep.
So, depends really where you live and which side of the island kind of you're going. And I charge real simple, and it's all inclusive of the trash, the pet care, you know, the usual 4 things, the watering of the yard and the garden, that kind of thing, and the mail.
Right.
So for those 4 things, really simple regime with that, with the pet care, up to 3 dogs. I have a limit of dogs. So 3 dogs, it's $35 a day after 8 days. And then if it's more complicated, then they know that, you know, it might be more. So the one I'm going to, they have like 3 acres of property. They got a pool to tend to. They got to do the blower thing, and which is, you know, to get started. And the hens and the cats and the 2 big dogs.
Right.
So you're taking care of big properties. So I'm charging $45 a day for that.
Yeah, that's not too bad. That adds up.
So you really, huh?
That adds up after all.
Yeah.
That's really good.
It does. And so you kind of got to, so if you start at a flat rate, then that's real simple enough for people. And then if it's less than a week, which I don't usually do unless it's already a client or it's pretty convenient for me, then I'll do it. Then it becomes more per day. It starts going up to $50 per day.
So it seems to me like if someone was watching this and they wanted to try and work out a rate sort of thing, it's sort of setting your criteria and then working out a rate from there and then adjusting it going up, as you say.
Do you have any idea, just in a comparison aspect, of what, say, a kennel or a cattery would cost on the island?
Yeah, I've done that research, and I think they start at $25 a day for one pet, and then they add. So anytime there's a boarding situation, I find they do their rates by service, which can really add up.
Yes.
So, like, if you're going to pet my dog, then that's $15 an hour. If you're going to throw the ball, that's going to be a charge too.
Yeah.
And that's not really putting.
Well, that certainly balances it out, because to get, the mail, the watering, the, the care of the house and the love of the pets, it's like you're getting this whole bundle for pretty much the same price, for one pet.
Yeah, and the dog and the animals are so much happier.
Yes, yeah.
That's really about them too.
Yeah.
They're in their comfort zone. So.
Okay, so do you drive to the properties, or have you ever had a property that provides you with transport for any need, or?
I don't need the cars. The island's really small, and I know I've been here for 27 years, and I know all about the island and where I don't want to house sit, where I wouldn't house sit, and really, where do I want to go or try out, and so that's kind of cool. So anyone could house sit in their own backyard, right?
Yeah.
Especially if they know the area really well.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the pros about it. You can house sit in your space that you're comfortable with, and kind of where not to go, or where it's safe too. Especially if you're a single woman, house sitting. That's like number one. You want to be safe.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
What I absolutely love the most, and I highly recommend everyone gets a copy of The Mermaid's Guide to House Sitting as well. But
Thank you.
What I'm loving the most is that you're bringing this balance where it's almost like you didn't expect to get paid, and yet it felt right too because you were being offered to get paid, and yet you're completely open to still doing the value exchange to go travelling. It's like this whole gambit sort of being rounded out, and that's why we were so excited to talk to you, because it is one of the main questions of people getting started in house sitting, like, can I get paid?
It is.
Yeah, how much do I charge?
That's why I wrote the book, because every time I Googled questions about house sitting, that was the question that would come up. And so I said, well, no one's really answering that question.
Yes.
And I know I might get some flack from house sitters, but I don't care. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to tell people how much they can start, with, and then lead up. And I said I wrote the book to help other house sitters to answer that question. That's the only reason I wrote it. So.
Yeah,
and I wrote it like 6 months into house sitting.
Yeah, well,
it's like going fast and furious. Like, I got all this in my head.
Get it out!
Gotta get it away.
Well, at the end of the day, it comes down each to their own.
Yes.
There is no hard and fast rule on whether you're a volunteer house sitter, whether you're a value exchange house sitter, whether you're, like we have been paid, and we have also not been paid but accepted gratuities, be it a little bit of cash or a full fridge of food, or being taken out for dinner. It's sort of
comes in different
every
forms.
Single place for us is different. Now, we're not actively seeking to be paid, but we're not doing what you're doing. We're not driving our own car to somewhere and staying in our local area. So each to their own.
Oh no, we lost Robin.
We tried everything to get her back, but that little internet connection interruption couldn't be saved. It must be something about going from one island to another. We're here on Barbados and she's over there in Kauai in Hawaii. But she did have something else that she wanted to share with you all.
Yeah, and that was that she's really building up trust now with the homeowners, and a lot of them are actually asking her to come back and play a little bit of a Girl Friday role in, doing some admin or some decluttering, doing some cleaning perhaps. So that's a really nice added bonus for her income as well, that she just really didn't expect to have happen.
Absolutely. So I hope you've enjoyed having a listen to Robin's take on it, how she got started. I think that Craigslist ad was just golden. So, you know, she's also open to travelling the world as a free house sitter as well. So I think she really did bring kind of all elements to the table, which of course she talks about, particularly with the getting paid as a house sitter in her book, The Mermaid's Guide to House Sitting. So we've got the details below the video. Enjoy that. And yeah, if you have any other questions, be sure to let Robin know through the Facebook group or here on this page as well.
All right, we'll see you soon.
Bye.